Hi there guys, this is Mr. E again with Unit 1 notes, Unit 1.2 notes, which is going to be on points, lines, and rays. The essential question for this set of notes, 1.2, is going to be how do I name a point, line, and ray using mathematical notation. So let's first talk about a point. Some important features about a point are that it has no size. It is represented by a dot, and when you name it, you use single capital letters. So for example, here's an illustration of a point. Very simple, just a dot. And when you name it, you need to use one single capital letter. So I'm going to select G, and that's how you name it. And that's how you would draw it as well. This is a drawing of a point G, and the name for it would be point G. So we answer the first part of the essential question. How do you name a point? Well, we just name it point G or using any capital letter of your choice if it has no letter. Going to the next term, a line. A line is made up of an infinite amount of points. So think about it like this. Here's a bunch of points. So let me start again actually. Here's a line. If you were to zoom in an infinite amount of time, then there would be a bunch of points that would make up this line. And that's what a line is. So, a couple other features about it is that you have the arrows at the end show that that line goes forever in both directions. And when you name it, you use a lowercase script letter, which script letters are essentially cursive letters, or you can use 2 points on the line and a line symbol above. So let me first draw a line over here. So an image of a line is a line followed by the 2 arrows at the end. And again, those symbolize that the line goes forever in both directions. And when you name it, you got 2 options. You can, let's say, the first option is using lowercase letters, script letters. So let's say if I draw my line over here, again, I can use a lowercase, I don't know, let's say L, and that would be called line L. Now you could also use points on the line. So for example, let me just highlight this a different color, orange. So you can also use 2 points on the line. So for example, I'm gonna draw another line, 2 arrows at the end, and I'm gonna put 2 points on the line. So let's just call this point M Z. So those are 2 points on the line. So you can call this line MZ with the line symbol above. So the line symbol is the following. That's going to be this right here. That's a symbol. That's a line symbol right there. So it's just a line with arrows at the end. So that's how you name it. That's a second way to name it. So moving on to the next term. You have collinear, points which lie on the same line. So if I use a previous example that we just talked about, M and Z are technically considered collinear points because they lie on the same line. So I'm just going to write here. I'm just going to essentially copy this picture here because and I'm going to say that M and Z are collinear because they're on the same line. Non-collinear, which are points that are not on the same line. So for example, if I have, again, I'm going to use the same picture. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to change the color just so we can kind of tell here. I'm going to get rid of Z. I'm going to put Z over here. Put it over here just so you guys can tell. So then I can say that M and Z are not collinear. And the last term, ray. Ray has one endpoint. So let me just actually first start off by showing you a picture of a ray. Endpoint followed by a line and an arrow at the end. That's a ray. So just like it was stated, has one endpoint and it goes forever in the other one direction or the other direction. Now, how do you name an endpoint? Again, sorry, let me just go back to the essential question. We talked about how to name and draw a point. We talked about how to name a line. Now we're going to talk about how to name and draw a ray. So there's a ray. Now we got to learn how to name it. It says use 2 points and the ray symbol above. The endpoint must come first. Here's a key thing. The endpoint must come first. So I'm just going to take my ray that I drew over here. Here's my ray. I'm going to call this point, let's call it Y. I'm going to put this other point over here, X. So if I want to name this ray, it would actually be YX with the ray symbol above. So that is the ray symbol. Actually, let me use pink. This is the ray symbol right there. And it's above the 2 letters that I use. And again, Y in this case, because it's the endpoint, must come first. Let's take a look at one quick example before we wrap it up. So it says, identify and name the following geometric diagrams. You may be able to name it in multiple ways. So let's take a look at the first one. Now we need to identify this. Well, because it has 2 arrows at the ends, I am going to identify this as a line. Now how to name it? There's multiple ways. This is line M. Ooh. Again, the script M. Or you can name it using 2 points. I'm just going to choose 2 of the points that are on here. I'm going to say WX. So one way to name this would be line WX with the symbol on top. You can also name it XY with the symbol on top. And then you can also name it WY with the symbol on top. Alright, so just one clarification. You could also have flipped the letters. YW would have been the same, just like as in YX would have been the same to XY, and XW would have been the same thing as WX. So again, any of these 6 actually, or 7 including this first one, are ways to name a line. Second one, if I take a look at the diagram, this is technically an array. Now how to name it? There's actually one way to name this. You gotta use the 2 letters that are given to me, starting with the endpoint, and the endpoint for this array is S. So I'm gonna name this ST with the array symbol on top, and that's how you would name that.